during times like this as well, it's just good to talk about sports. It's definitely inspiring just to me, just to hear other people talking about the sport.
Welcome to today's video, everybody. I'm going to be interviewing Amber Schlebusch, the 2018 Bonus Series Youth Olympic Champion. Amber is a phenomenal athlete. She's a 3-time Junior South African champion, 3-time African Junior champion, and has already got a bit of WTS experience with a couple of mixed team relays. So no doubt it is going to be another great chat. So please enjoy. Good morning, Amber. Thank you for agreeing to come on today for a bit of a chat. It's pretty cool to have a guest for the second interview. Like Lorcan's video, do you want to start off with a bit about yourself, like a bit of context? Obviously, you are from South Africa, so yeah, do you want to tell people a bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I'm Amber Schlebusch. I'm a junior triathlete from South Africa, Durban to be more specific. I've pretty much grown up here most of my life. So yeah, Durban. And I'm 18 turning 19 in July. So it is my last year in juniors. And yeah, I mean, I've been doing triathlon for about 4 years now. So yeah, getting into the sport, really enjoying it so far. And yeah.
And how did you get into the sport? Any whack story, or was it a natural progression?
No, it's nothing whack, I must be honest. It was just my mom. She did a few local races, nothing competitive. I mean, she's an age grouper. She enjoys the sport. And I actually came from a swimming background, so I was swimming, I think, from the age of like 10 to 13, quite competitively. And then I would go watch my mom on the weekends, do a few races. We call it the Tin Man races here in Durban. Pretty chilled races, local, really fun. And yeah, I stopped swimming competitively at about 13. I just grew out of the sport. I didn't really enjoy it anymore. And at that age, I think that's pretty much what sports is about, all about enjoyment. So I went from swimming and I decided to do one race at the Tin Man. I was really nervous before, have to be honest, wasn't my favorite. I was extremely nervous. But I won it, so I was obviously really, really happy about that, and that's obviously a motivator. So I think from then on, it's almost just sort of grown. And I mean, my mom's done a few Ironmans as well. I love watching Ironman races; they're super inspiring. And yeah, I think it just started off as like a fun extra that I did on side of swimming, and then all of a sudden took over from swimming. Yeah, so I stopped swimming, and then this sort of became like my new sport, if you can call it. And I did a bit of running at school as well. I think I was 800 meters. I was only really good at 800. And that was like in junior school, that was kind of like the long distance race. There were a few 200s and 100s, but I wasn't so great at those. So yeah, after then I pretty much did a little bit of track, and then that again led into triathlon. So yeah, that's pretty much how it started. Pretty boring, but it was cool.
It's always helpful coming from a swimming background. We've actually got a pretty similar introduction into the sport with.
Oh, really?
Yeah, swimming, a bit of track at school, and then but I think
Okay, cool. And cycling, you just sort of like, did you just sort of get into it when you started tri?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's why I started cycling for triathlon.
Okay.
So
okay, great. Yeah.
Pretty cool. And you mentioned you enjoy watching Ironman. So do you think one day potentially you might do one?
Yeah. I mean, we do have a few local races here as well where there's no drafting. And I do really enjoy that. I find that, I don't know, I just enjoy it better because I am a slightly stronger cyclist, and also then your swimming doesn't have to be so great. And at the moment, well, my last few races, my swimming hasn't been fantastic, but I am improving. And I think with the non-drafting, I don't know, I feel like you can make more of an impact on the bike than you would if you had to like break away from a group. So I think I would enjoy it. I don't know about the full Ironman. It's a bit long. But definitely half. I think I'll give half a go, but like in a few years' time. Nothing too soon. Yeah.
I agree. They're pretty cool to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Amber, before we start talking about Youth Olympics, South Africa in in total lockdown, and that's different to Australia because we're not in the total lockdown. We can still go out and exercise. So it was quite a bit worse for you guys. How are you managing with all that? Like, I saw on your Instagram that you did a run just up and down your driveway.
Okay, so full lockdown here kind of means that we can't go out for anything except to medical stores or obviously grocery shopping. And usually there's only one person allowed in the car, and the cops are really strict here, which is obviously great because they're enforcing the law. But I mean, they're really strict. There's been so many people arrested because they're just not following the simple guidelines. So I mean, I'm not going to take a risk to go out for a run. But yeah, I mean, it has been really tricky. I think we've been in lockdown for about 3 to 4 weeks, and I think we've got 2 more to go so far if they don't extend it. That's another thing that we're all anticipating because the numbers are still rising, but obviously very slowly. So yeah, I mean, I've been swimming. I've got a swimming pool. I'm lucky enough to have a swimming pool. I know a lot of people who don't. And I've got like a little contraption I saw in your YouTube video. It's pretty much a similar thing. Water's really cold though, because I live in Kloof, so the temperatures are a little bit colder than the beachfront. So yeah, the water's freezing. So I do usually wear like a wetsuit. Then again, I can only swim for like 30 minutes because it is a little bit, I don't know, I find it like harder than swimming in a normal pool as well. It's definitely more tiring. So I feel like I get the same amount of work done in half an hour than I would in, let's say, in an hour. So yeah, that's what I'm doing for the swimming. And then the cycling, I've obviously got an indoor trainer. Again, super lucky to have that, and a lot of people who don't. Unfortunately, I'm not on Zwift, which, yeah, that's not nice. But I was using a facility like a gym here in Durbs, and the owner had like the whole Zwift set up. So with me leaving to the US and potentially leaving in September, then it felt like a little bit silly to get all the facilities at my house if I could just use it somewhere. And obviously with this lockdown, I can't go to that gym. So that means no Zwift. But yeah, I do have a trainer, so I am still cycling. Just makes the longer rides really difficult. I get very bored. It's when Netflix comes in handy. And then for the running, I don't have a treadmill and I don't live on a farm. So I've got like 200 meters of stretch that I can use. But luckily, I think I'm really motivated with running. It's definitely my favorite out of the 3 disciplines. So I have been keeping up with it, even if I only manage like 4 or 5 Ks. If I do that every day, I found that consistent work definitely does help. And I do a lot of drills and speed work, wind sprints, because I've got a bit of a hill on my driveway. So I do a few sprints on there. It's just I've got to kind of adapt, I suppose. And I know a lot of people who are in worse situations. So I'm actually grateful for what I do have. I know I don't have a treadmill, and I have been pretty bummed about it. I mean, I've seen a lot of people using it, and all I want to do is go out for like a long run. But I know it's only 2 more weeks, hopefully. And yeah, I've just got to stick it for now. And yeah, I hope that I can get out soon because it's getting difficult. It's really difficult.
Yeah, that does sound pretty tough, especially with the running, but I'm sure it does help being as motivated as you are. But quite a bit of respect for you to do those runs just up.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
All right, Amber. So do you want to talk a little bit about the Youth Olympics now? Was that something you were targeting for quite a while, and were you expecting yourself to win? Because I mean, sometimes you go into races knowing that winning is definitely a possibility. Was that something you were thinking of?
To be honest, I kind of aimed for top 10. I found that my mindset before a race, I don't like putting too much pressure on myself, but I think subconsciously I do anyway. So I kind of said openly to everybody, like if my mom had to ask me or my friends had to ask me, what's your goal? I was pretty stoked just to qualify, to be honest with you. And I was like, well, I've qualified, so that's an achievement on its own just to be on the start line. But I mean, top 10 would be like amazing. And I definitely did surprise myself when I did get the gold. I mean, I remember running to the coach that was in charge there for South Africa, and I was like, wait, did I just win this? I was like, wait, no, it's not real. So it was definitely a shock. I wasn't expecting it. But when I spoke to my mom and my coach at the time, when I spoke to them afterwards, they both said, no, we're expecting a podium, but we just didn't want to tell you. Because obviously they can see my progression, you know, they see it more than what I do. So, and I also just think they've got a lot of confidence in me, and I do lack a little bit on the confidence side. So, yeah, it was great to hear that from them afterwards that they were expecting at least a podium. But for me to win, I mean, it was amazing. I mean, I still relive that moment, and it's like it's fresh. I can't believe it.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I can just imagine how stoked you would have been.
Yeah, especially to get it on the run. I mean, it was like I was so far behind, and I mean, I was running as fast as I could. And when I caught the third goal, I was like, wow, okay. And then the second, I was like, no, I won't catch first. Like, there's only 1K to go. And then I saw it down the road, and I was like, no, I got to try. So yeah, no, it was a great moment.
Off the bike, what were you thinking? You know, like a bit of ground to make up.
Yeah, well, I knew that the run was definitely my strongest. And I don't know why, but we didn't have a great back. I mean, we had a great pack. I think it's a New Zealand athlete. I think it's Bria Roderick. I don't know if you know her. I don't know if I said it right. But yeah, she was cycling in the same pack and kind of worked very well together. But the front two girls seemed to pull away by like a minute and a half. So they were way off the front. And when I got off the bike, I heard obviously times being shouted. And I knew that we were about a minute and a half back. And I think my goal, because that was first and second, my goal right then and there was to secure third, because third was in the pack that I was in. So when I pulled away from the rest of the pack on the run, and second became a target, and then first, it was, yeah, just it all happened so quickly as well. Like I've never run that fast either. I mean, that was probably my best 5K off the bike. Yeah, I think I ran like a 17:15. So for me, that was really good for where I was as well. And I completely surprised myself with my run time. I didn't know that I was anywhere near that sort of time. So yeah.
Well, man, yeah, if there was one day to do it, you got that right. So
yeah.
And the whole athlete village sort of vibe around it, was that cool as well?
Yeah, I know, it was really awesome. I mean, I met a lot of athletes. You know, I met more. We kind of stayed. The South Africans kind of stayed together. Well, the ones that I knew. So I just more met people in my country that did different sports that I obviously didn't know before. But you know, we would meet up with obviously other athletes, and I went to go watch a few different sports. I mean, I went to watch the I think it's canoeing, but I don't know if it's called canoeing, but like they were in boats. Okay. And yeah, I was watching that, and it was really cool. And then also watched a bit of the break dancing, which was awesome. So, you know, I just watched different things. I decided to just, you know, branch out and try something that I wouldn't ordinarily try. And yeah, I mean, I met a lot of people. It was such an awesome vibe. I mean, even the cafeteria place was like, it was so cool, because you just had like probably like about thousands of athletes all together in the same area, all sharing like a similar passion. So it was really cool. It was motivating as well. It was awesome.
And then I can imagine that you're even more motivated to make a major games now, like the Commonwealth Games or the Olympics.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, that would be amazing. I can't even imagine what I mean, like the level that this whole thing was set up and the amount of money that went into it. I can't imagine what like the big Olympics and the Commonwealth Games are like. It must be amazing, once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah. And are those sort of major games goals of yours now? Are they something that you want to try and achieve in the next 2 years, 4 years, 8 years?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really thought about Commonwealth Games, to be honest with you. But Olympics, obviously, I've done a few of the WTS relays, and they've been really fun. I've had some like really bad, you know, you let the team down, you feel quite bad. But I think it was all experience as well. I mean, I was racing some really big names, and you know, that experience builds, and I got more confidence as well. Obviously, we've got 2 really good female athletes at the moment. Well, we've got a few, And I think the relay, obviously they only take two women. Luckily I've got another year until 2021 now that it's postponed. But I don't know if it's like an immediate goal. I wouldn't say that it's like I want to make the Olympics next year. I think that would be pushing it. I don't think I'll be mentally ready for it either. I think I'd rather wait until I'm confident and raced a few Olympic distance races as well. I mean, I haven't done an Olympic distance race at all. So I think I'd want to do that for a good few years before I jump to like the big Olympics. And also points. I don't think my points are very high. So I need to do a few more European races to get those points up. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's next year's goal, but it definitely is on the radar. I mean, 2024 would be a great year if I got to go.
Sounds like you sort of got that planned out well. You don't want to go in underdone or under experienced. So
yeah, no,
for sure.
No, of course, yeah.
But then this September you're going to college. That'll be
cool.
Tell people what college and all of that.
Yeah, so I'm going to Arizona State University, and their college pretty much starts at the beginning of September. I'll be coached by Cliff English. He's the official coach there, and Nicole is also the assistant coach. Yeah. So I'll be working with them. I have already been working with Cliff under Cliff's program, and it's been great. Really enjoying it. So I'm supposed to go, obviously with the whole virus and pandemic right now, it's a bit up in the air. And we've obviously got a travel ban at the moment. I'm not sure if America does. I think they do to Europe. But either way, a lot can happen in the amount of time that we've got left. I'm obviously hoping for a positive outcome. And with World Champs also being in Canada, that's definitely kind of on the radar. I'd love to go to my last junior World Champs. It would be my third time racing, so hopefully, I get to do better than I did last year. I think, I'm really excited to go. It's going to be awesome to train with a bunch of girls, because at the moment I'm training pretty much by myself because I've got my own program and my own coach, and most of the girls here in Durban, they're all coached by different coaches, so our sessions don't match. But I mean, like for long rides, or if I've got a pretty chilled session, I'll meet up with a few people, which makes it obviously more interesting, because training by yourself it's definitely teaching me a few things. So I'll be excited to go over there just to train with like-minded girls, and to be part of a team as well. That obviously motivates you. I hope that World Champs obviously does continue. I mean, you don't know how long this thing's going to last. And I hope that I'll be able to go over there. I know Cliff was talking about a bit of a camp beforehand. But everything's up in the air at the moment. I don't know when I'm leaving. I just know that I kind of need to be there by the beginning of September. And we'll have to see how everything progresses from there.
Yeah, I know it is a bit of an unknown right now, but hopefully you will get another race as a junior, because as you said, it's your last year.
Yeah.
That'd be a pretty cool race to get right and nail that. But for Arizona State University, I've got a mate going there in 2021 for swimming. He's on like the junior Irish swimming team, so I've no doubt that that university has got some pretty solid training squads there, so I'm sure you picked well.
Yeah, no, it is great there. Yeah, I'm excited for sure. And I don't know any other South Africans going there, but I've chatted to a few of the girls from the US that are there currently, and they're super nice. I'm a bit nervous. Obviously, I'm going to be like completely out of my depth. I mean, it's like I'm going to be meeting new people, not my country as well. It's quite far from my country. So I'm nervous, but I know that I have been to the US before, and I have met Cliff, the coach, and I have met a few of the girls. So I'm excited as well. I think it's going to be a good change, and just to experience something that I love out of my country will also just be quite eye-opening, I think.
Yeah, it'll be great, I'm sure. Good experience, and they'll be pretty lucky to have you there.
Yeah, I know for sure.
So Amber, before we conclude, like I asked Lorcan, do you have any pieces of advice for younger athletes, even athletes of your age or older athletes in triathlon or any sport really? Just a couple of words.
Yeah, I just think that for the younger ages, especially that are looking up at the sport, it's a long journey. I've probably, hopefully got about 10 to 15 years left of the sport. So I think, the younger athletes need to realize that, and in their junior years, enjoy it. Make it less about positions and the competitiveness, and enjoy the actual sport, because especially in times like this, it could be so easy just like not to train, like throw in the towel for a few months because there's no races coming up. But this is kind of when the love of the sport has to come into it. So you need to wake up and want to train, even with no races. You need to wake up and be like, no, but I feel like cycling today, or I feel like running today. So I think that's got to grow from a very young age. And I think with swimming, that's where I made my mistake. I did it a bit too serious too soon. And yeah, I think, traveling, obviously it depends if your country gives you the opportunity, but I think doing as many European races or races out of your country is great experience. I'm glad I got to do that in 2018 and I think 2017 as well. So I think with that experience, it definitely helped me grow as an athlete, just realizing that there's more out there than just your little country. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. A couple of great words there.
Yeah, thank you.
So thank you for coming on today, Amber. I really appreciate you spending the time. Come and have a chat, and good luck with hopefully only 2 more weeks of training in total
lockdown. Yeah, thank you. Thanks much. Yeah.
Good luck with all of that and all the racing over there.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. And thanks for the interview. I think during times like this as well, it's just good to talk about sports. It's definitely inspiring just to me, just to hear other people talking about the sport. So yeah, I hope that this also inspires others just to keep ticking over during these times, because there has to be a race soon. So
for sure.
Yeah, cool.
Right, thanks, Amber.
Okay, thanks so much, Mitch. Thank you.
Thanks for watching that, everybody. It was great fun to chat to Amber. Don't forget to follow her on Instagram and watch her progression throughout the sport. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you are enjoying the videos. Thanks to everybody for the positive feedback that I've been receiving over the past couple of weeks since making the channel. Next week, Wednesday, Friday again. On Wednesday, we'll have Josh Ferris, another Australian junior triathlete who also went to the Youth Olympics. So it'll be great to get Josh on the channel. See you then.